Let me ask you a question. If you had to be truly honest with yourself, if your income stopped today, how long could you breathe before you panic set in? Not how long could you survive on credit cards, not how long could you figure out something, how long before you'd start making decisions out of fear instead of wisdom? Because that number tells me more about your financial health than your income ever will. Most people think the goal of money is to get more stuff. But the real purpose of money, especially savings, is peace. And here's the problem. A lot of people look fine on the outside. They have new cars, new clothes, the latest gadgets, but financially, they're fragile. One broken down car, one medical bill, one job being fired or made redundant, and suddenly their life is out of control. In this video, I'm going to show you how much money you should actually have saved. No shame, no fear, just the truth. Because life will happen. Jesus said, in this world, you will have trouble. And the goal isn't to panic when trouble happens. The goal is to be prepared. Most people think their problem is income. They say, if I just made more money, everything would be fine. But that's not actually the problem. Think about it. The real problem isn't how much money you make. The real problem is how exposed are you. Because you can make a lot of money and still be quite fragile. You can make a modest income and be resilient. Being fragile is when an unexpected bill shows up, a shock to the system, and it knocks you off, knocks you out of balance. Resilience is when life happens, because life will happen. You don't panic, you don't stress, because you're prepared, you've got something in the waiting. I've seen people earning great money who are one missed paycheck, one missed payment away from stress and almost bankruptcy. And I've seen people earning less who sleep better at night because they have margin, they have gap. They've prepared themselves. Margin changes how you think. Pressure makes you react, right? And here's the truth. Most people don't want to face it. If an emergency forces you into debt, it wasn't really an emergency. It was a lack of preparation. Life doesn't ask permission before it charges you, right? A car breaks down. You have a car accident, a health challenge. You can't go to work. Your job shifts. You get fired. The company closes. And when you don't have margin, everything becomes a crisis. So the question isn't how much do you make? The real question to check on someone is how long can your money protect you from peace? How long can you last without your income? Most people misunderstand savings. They think savings is about having extra or feeling secure because there's a number in a bank account. But savings isn't about money. Savings is about time. Think about this. There's a time in your life where you didn't have $1 in your bank account, and you came to a position, you came to a conclusion that having that number in your head in your bank account is safe. Whether it's $1, $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, you made that number up. No one told you that number. At different points in your life, it was different, right? When you just had your first job, having $100 in your bank account, you could spend it. It didn't matter because mum paid the bills. There was always dad provided food on the table. It didn't matter, right? Because that money wasn't going to bills. It was just play money. But then as you started to grow, get a job, move out, get a mortgage, have kids, that number goes from $1, goes up quite quickly. Whatever that number is comfortable for you. Might be $500. Might be looking at your bank account and going, oh, look, I've got $5,000. And when you're savings, you're not buying stuff. You're buying options. You're buying the ability to pause, think, breathe, have time, have a pause. I've got options. But when it's gone, you have to act. You don't have options. You've got to make fast decisions. Because when life hits, and it will, if you've been around the sun a few times, life happens to us all. Savings gives you time to think, time to pray, time to prepare, time to get counsel, time to make good decisions instead of fast ones, instead of reacting. People without savings don't make better decisions. They make fast ones, irrational ones. That's why savings isn't about feeling rich. It's about being unrushable. It's about not letting the urgency dictate what your decision is. And when you don't have savings, everything feels urgent. Everything feels now. It has to happen now. Every problem feels bigger. Every choice feels heavier. Like, oh, the weight of the world. And savings doesn't stop the problem from happening. It stops problems from controlling you. The number. Let's talk about the number. Not options, not internet guesses, just wisdom. You should have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. Some people go, what? That much money? Yes, that much money. Because that gives you time. If you lost your job today, that would give you 3 to 6 months to find another job. Not your income, not your lifestyle, 3 to 6 months of what it actually costs you to live. Why that number? Because 3 months gives you breathing room. 6 months gives you leverage. 3 months says, I don't have to panic. 6 months says, I don't have to rush. 3 months says, I've got time to choose which job I want to take, opposed to just taking the first one that someone offers to pay me, right? That's enough time to not just respond, to respond instead of react. It's enough time to think clearly. It's enough time to make decisions from wisdom and not fear. Emergency funds aren't about preparing for the end of the world. They're about surviving normal life. And life happens to us all. I don't know about you, but me personally, the company I work for a couple of years ago said, we're shutting up shop. I had to go find another job. People get fired. People get made redundant. It happens. Global financial crisis. It happens. Most emergencies aren't rare. They're going to happen. Crashes happen. Cars break down. Things happen. Children have accidents. And when you don't have that buffer, 3 to 6 months, one problem turns into 3 or 4. Stress turns into debt. Debt turns into so much pressure. But when you do have them, the same problem isn't an inconceivable crisis. You actually can think about it. You have time, buffer. Why less than 3 months is dangerous? And let me be clear, having something saved is better than nothing. So having $5 in the bank is better than having 0, right? But less than 3 months puts you in a risky position because emergencies don't show up one at a time. They stack. The car breaks down. Work slows down. The medical bill shows up. A broken appliance. A fridge. A washing machine. Kids need new shoes, right? Stuff happens. And when you don't have enough margin, every problem feels urgent, and urgency forces bad decisions. This is when people reach out for credit cards. This is when people take on personal loans that they don't understand. They need money quick. And when they start selling things they shouldn't sell and they should keep, not because they're irresponsible, but because they're under pressure. Pressure actually reveals character. Pressure also reveals your preparation. Less than 3 months means you're always reacting, always hoping nothing goes wrong, always one surprise away from stress. And when your fear is driving, wisdom isn't. That's why 3 months is a minimum. It's the starting position. It's the difference between saying, I hope this works out, and saying, I'm okay, we'll figure this out. Why more than 6 months can wait. Now, let me say something clearly. Having more than 6 months saved is not a bad thing. Don't go, I've got 6 months, I don't have to have anything saved. It's actually a good position to be in. I actually think if you think you need 6 months, you probably need more. But it's not the next priority for most people because money has jobs, has other priorities. And once you've got that saved, you should move on to the next task. Investing. Cash is great for stability. Cash isn't designed to grow. After 6 months of expenses, You've bought time. You're not fragile anymore. You don't have to make rash decisions. You're stable. And at that point, the question changes from not from how do I survive, but how do I build? How do I grow this thing to make it last for generations? That's when investing matters. That's when skills matters. That's when increasing your income matters. Because the goal isn't to stockpile cash forever. That's not the goal. The goal is to create a system that produces surplus ongoing. Think of savings like a fountain. A foundation. And you don't keep pouring concrete forever, right? You don't keep building that foundation. Eventually, you've got to build the walls and the roof. Once you've got a solid foundation, then you build, right? You don't keep building a foundation forever. 6 months is the solid foundation, and then you grow from there. Safety first, strategy second. Okay, real practically, how to calculate your number. Because that gives you really confidence. This isn't complicated. You don't need a massive spreadsheet. You just need to be really honest with yourself. Start with one question. What does it actually cost me to live every month? Not your dream lifestyle, not your upgraded future, but your current real lifestyle. Write down the non-negotiables. Housing. What does my roof over my head cost? Food, utilities, transport, insurance. This isn't about, it's not about cutting yet. It's about seeing. It's really just to be, what does it cost? Give me a number. So I can actually figure out something. Once you have that monthly number, multiple it by 3 or 6, right? 3 is the minimum, 6 is the target. So, if it costs 10 grand a month to live, it's cost 30 grand is your minimum, right? It's quite simple math. And that's it. It's not complicated. We're not looking at cutting things. We're just really going, what does it cost? And you can cut out things like gym memberships and subscriptions and all those things you don't need. They're not non-negotiables. If you don't have an income, you just need the essentials, right? Transport, food, housing, cover the basics. And that number isn't about impressing anyone. It's just about protection for peace for you. So you go, okay, if all else fails, I have enough just to cut all the non-essentials and just cover the essentials. That's so you can sleep at night. It doesn't matter what the number is. We're not looking at your personal finance number right now. This is just about creating that buffer. And if you look at that number and you think that feels too far away, that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you need to build on it. You need one decision after another and take time. You don't need it today. You just need to make the decision today. Start heading in that direction. You're not going to start saving that overnight. And if you don't have that yet, let me talk to all the people who are watching this that don't have that yet. If you don't have that 3 to 6 months saved, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not bad with money. You're not lazy. You're not behind. You're just early. Right? That'll land. Every financially stable person you admire started with 0. They started somewhere. That's what separates them. They started heading in that direction. The goal isn't to save it all at once, not today, just to save that 3 to 6 months straight up. The goal is to start preparing, being aware that this is a requirement. Wisdom is taking what you learn. Oh, great! I've got some new knowledge, and I'm going to apply it. I'm actually going to do something about it. So now you know. So now you build it, right? And you build it over time. You build it small, consistent decisions. $10 saved. $20 saved. Week 1, cool. Week 2, $20 saved. Cool. 1 week at a time. Small decisions builds momentum. Consistency. This isn't about catching up for everyone else. It's about protecting yourself. This is just you just need to look at yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone else at this point. Money stops feeling loud and problems start feeling smaller. You can breathe differently because you have peace, because money isn't stressing you out. So I hope you have found this really helpful. Let me know in the comments, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Peace out.